Cool.
We're live. Are you recording? You are recording. And I don't see anything.
Mine moving real slow though.
I'm requesting to record you all. Make sure you all approve that.
Oh yes, ma'am.
Hey, don't forget to let me know when we're gonna be live, piece, so I can go ahead and put us live on the radio.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you know he gonna be 1 minute and out. You know him, Jill. So
hey, as soon as Cross DJ pop up.
Okay.
It's almost 6 now, or 6 right now. It's popping up right now. So we'll be going on in T-minus 1 minute.
Okay.
1 minute.
1 minute. Ducky Fresher on.
The pressure on. Yeah. Hey, that joint, boy. Get fresh.
Yeah. That was classic right there. Still waiting on my hat, man.
Oh man, I got my closet.
Me too. DJ.
Oh no.
I told y'all send me y'all address, you know what I'm saying? I was gonna send y'all a Christmas gift, but I guess y'all didn't want it. You know what I'm saying? My gift wasn't good enough this year.
Yeah, I got Cash App.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh yeah. Okay. Hey, we can hit that too. You know what I'm saying? I like that sound when it happened, when it come through. So hey.
So wait a minute. So you telling me, Jill, all you need is an address, and then I get some merch. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, you send me a dress, I can send you some shirts, some hats, some towels.
Some
cup coasters, keychains.
This is already done.
I got a little bit of everything over here.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
All right. Well, I get your address and I'll send you. I got coasters too. I know you got drinks over there. I see you got cold water, so you can keep the. Send us your address, and I'll send you some.
Now, see, Kelly, your cup is not clear, so I have no idea what you are consuming at this point, sir.
Absolutely, Dr. D. You know, sometimes conspicuously, that way if someone asks me, I can say, it was water. I was hydrating myself. And for those of you like, all right, Kel, for real, what was you drinking?
All right.
Your background is law enforcement, so you know what.
All right, Ree, Kel, Dr. D, we about to go. All right.
Boom.
You're tuned in to Hits 107.3. No one knows hits like we do. The noise seems so loud in the background. I'm trying to face out. The noise seems so loud in the background. I'm trying to face out. The noise seems so loud in the background. I'm trying to face out. Blood on the lead, bullets in the breeze, but it was poison in the plot. Gunpowder on my sleeve, smuggle not fruit from the trees. It looks stranger when it dropped. The terrain ain't the same. A jungle full of asphalt, crawling in the clouds. I'ma run till I pass out. Past the generation, wasn't promised to live long. Righteous ain't worthy, hypocrisy in the clergy. The tie came, but a cane rush. Relatives sniff, keep stuff tension, hella thick. Cut that with a razor blade. Cabinet full of liquor, with a fridge full of Gatorade. On trapping in a 3-piece, erasing for the paper. Then blow it like it's loose leaf. The game ain't fair. Just prepared for the worst, but I'm praying for the positives. Cause life's too short, and the outcome is obvious. In the background, face out. In the background, face out. The noise seems so loud. In the background, I'm trying to face out.
Joints are fresh, you gotta Shazam it. Coming through loud and clear. It's power 1, 2, jam.
It's our perspective. Representation comes to short. Respecting you all those right around is what you chose. Perspective. It's just the Respecting you won't lose. Right or wrong is what you choose. Respect. This is the play. The odds and the outcome based on how you move. The odds and the outcome based on how you move.
Not how they move, but how you move. Good evening, everyone. It's a perspective. It's your boy P.
And this your boy Kales.
And we got old Mr. Triple Threat himself, because he always paused like, are we going to introduce him or is he supposed to jump in? Mr. Unreal.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I just don't be jumping out the window. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to respect my elders. You know what I'm saying? My bad. I'm on one today. You know what I'm saying? You know I love y'all, man.
I
You know
love
what
it.
I'm saying?
I love it.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I'm just trying to. I'm sitting in the background, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I just want to, you know.
And we got our special guest, which we're going to get to just here in a second. So we're going to go ahead and start as we always do. Mr. Walt, how was your week, man?
Man, let me tell you, week was a little challenging last couple of days, man. And I know we talked about this off air, but you know, in the line of work, man, it seems like more than not dealing with a lot of mental illness / suicidal subjects. You know, kind of my last day on shift was dealing with that and ranging from a 14-year-old teenager man all the way to a 60-year-old female man, you know, kind of barricading herself in a bathroom, man, in an early education building. So I know me and you, Pete, we talked about it. We know this is the season, you know, when it comes to you know, Christmas and holidays and Thanksgiving, and we're at the end of the year and everything, but it's like, wow, you know, this thing is kind of really ramped up. But besides that, man, you know how I always say, man, 10 toes down, I'm blessed to be here, and, you know, let's make it happen.
Gia, how was your week?
Man, you know, blessed, you know, hey, I'm here, I'm above ground, you know,
All day.
that's all I can ask, man. You know what I'm saying? God has fulfilled the things that I needed for the week, you know what I'm saying, for life. So, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm good.
I lost sound. So
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. I learned they just did not, they were educated day.
Sounds good. So I know you said sister. Is that
Identical
identical
twin.
sister or just identical twin? I believe, Dr. D, that you are our first guest that has blessed our panel with a identical twin, I believe. P had to come in and verify that, but to my knowledge, I believe. What do you remember, Jill? You think this is first we had I believe so.
Yeah, this the first identical. You know, we had the
McAdoo sisters.
But they wasn't
It wasn't identical though. Correct.
Nope.
Correct.
First identical.
that is incorrect.
That is incorrect?
McAdoos are identical to, they're identical twins. They just, one had a baby later and one had babies earlier. And you know what babies do, right? So
no, I don't know what babies do, but since you do that out there, sure. Okay, yeah.
Hey, you see what happened? He came out of nowhere. You
out
know
of the
what I'm saying?
woodworks.
No sound. Yeah.
Hey, I've been trying to work on the sound for about 10, 15 minutes. Man,
there you go.
I'm so glad I have an able co-host, right? Because y'all didn't stop it, and I needed that. Boy, okay. So continue. Sorry.
So Dr. D, you have a very formidable, lengthy bio. You've accomplished a lot of things. And I just want to kind of highlight some of these because for those people who don't know, Perspective 217, Power 102 Jams, Hits 107, Pepsi Studio, all those good things. It's so that Dr. Morse, you are an educator, right? It started off teaching from kindergarten all the way to college. Is that correct? You have written 3 award-winning books. You speak in great detail about self-image, business strategies, fashion. You've partaken or hosted NFL drafts, the Essence Music Festival Awards, NBA All-Star Weekend. You covered the 2019 Wimbledon with phenomenon legend Serena Williams and Coco, is it Gauff? Is that her last name? Coco Gauff. As well as you've host red carpet Academy Awards. So how does all that come across your plate, ma'am? How are you able to obtain some of those things that you mentioned in your bio?
I tell you, Kelly, right place, right time, right place,
Okay.
right time. When I was teaching at Full Sail as a professor, Roy Evans came to my classroom, and he was doing a presentation, and he said, "You belong on television." And I said, "No, I'm a teacher. That's what I do. I'm a professor, off every Friday. I got my schedule, And he kept calling. He said, "No, you're really animated. You're good for your students. You have business students who want to be in your class." And I had about 80 students at Full Sail at that time. I had between 120 to 80 students per class, and we were engaged and fun and excited. And he said, "How are you doing that?" And I said, "Well, this is just Denise, And he said, "I have a talk show. I need a new host, and you'd be great." And I just said, "Me?" And long story short, I went to his studio. I met his interns. They were amazing. We're close to this day. And we spent more time in his office just going over, blocking and lighting and microphones. This was a whole different world for me. And he said, "And our first red carpet will be the Kentucky Derby." And I said, "You mean Derby? Because there's only one Kentucky Derby. You mean hats, horses,
With
Derby?
the big hats and the horses, yeah.
The hats, you mean the Derby? Because there's only one Derby. You mean Derby?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Okay, sure." And he said, "We're going to interview Smokey Robinson, Gabrielle Union. We're going to interview Tyrese. We're going to interview Earth, Wind, and Fire. We're going to interview," and I'm like, "Yeah, right. Yeah, sure we are."
Mm-hmm.
We got there. And not only did we interview them, we met with them, went backstage. And I said, "You pay people to do this?" And long story, I did a few more carpets with him. And it got to a point where it was supplementing my income. And I said, "I could maybe do this for a living." And so more red carpets. And I said, "Well, and I realized the bigger the carpet, the more money you got paid due to the exposure. So, but what's the big fish here? So that was 2006, 2008, really. And it's from that day to this one. So I did maybe 2 more years, and then I quit my job and did entertainment full time. And here we are.
That's a journey. P, you muted down there, brother.
Yeah, I'm still just trying to make sure everything good on my end. That is phenomenal. Some of your items brought me back to some things that I used to do a little bit though. Nothing like what I just heard from you. So I want to kind of switch gears a little bit. As an educator, did you already ask this question, Kelly, about the remote learning and things of that nature? And with the remote learning in most countries, how have you seen this impact our youth, our teachers, and our administrators? Because our administrators were under fire for a while because they had to put the plans in place.
Right.
So from your perspective, what have you seen this environment do to each one of those segments of people?
Well, for one, a lot of students, and I would include, college students from elementary, are not doing well with this because they're used to seeing their friends every day. They are used to socializing, and kids need that. They really, really do. Sports and PE. And when you have parents now being the teachers, and parents who are not used to doing that, and parents who, I dare say not qualified, but just parents who weren't ready to do that, it has been a stress situation for those children and for those parents. So when students were allowed to go back to school, adjustment for every area. It's funny because when I got my PhD years ago, it was distance education. And at that point, it was frowned upon. It's like, "Oh, your degree is not real. It's not authentic," because and my school's in California. I was in Florida, and they offered distance learning. And I said, okay, that was the only option for me. And now it's everywhere, So for the most part, people are now used to this education way of learning, distance education and e-learning and all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, it's been a stressor for parents. Parents who have to work, parents who don't trust their children, and now their kids are at home e-learning, kids who are not logging on. The parents are like, well, you better not fail my child because, you know, we have this COVID thing, don't fail my child. And it's like, you know, so I have seen more stress than success of it. But then you have those kids who are striving, who are thriving rather, kids who are used to being by themselves, kids who are loners and who are loving this, you know. But for the most part, I think that they've gotten better with it. But it has been a stressor because what do we do now? You know, how do you graduate? Kids couldn't walk with their class. They had to wear a mask. This is unprecedented times that we've had. So it's a fragile situation. It's still very fragile. And I think, honestly, with the new administration at 1600, that things will be a bit different and better.
Lord willing, right? So who is Dr. D?
I'm sorry, Pete. We covered that.
Oh, you did?
I did. That's the kind of when the sound
Oh,
went out.
well, I couldn't hear nothing.
No, you good. You good. But I guess for follow up to that, Dr. D, was, you know, as an educator, as we all just stated earlier, and you've talked to little babies all the way up to college students, and what you just mentioned there. Do you think that with this COVID situation, from going from in person now to remote, do you think that and because you mentioned that the loners are thriving, but there are those that are just kind of, you know, just falling down to the waist. Do you think that, and we've talked about this on a perspective, do you think that the grading system is going to be fair, I guess, so to speak, with those kids that are, let's just say, if you're not really buying into this whole remote thing, right? Do you think that the school systems are going to look at that as a whole and say, well, you know, this is a COVID year, let's not fail this kid, but maybe we can pass them, or what I guess, what is your perspective coming from an educator side?
I think you will see a lot of leniency. I think you will see a lot of compassion and a lot of, I'm not going to say gimme grades, but you will see a lot of leniency. I'm going to leave it there, only because this is different. And a kid can say, well, I did my best, I tried. And then, you know, how can they prove that, you know? So again, this is something we've never seen before. I know that parents are going to do all they can to help their children, except those parents who cannot help their children. And there are those who can't. They really, really are. And teachers know, before this COVID happened, teachers know the kids that need help and the kids that don't. Mm-hmm. Those kids always stick out. You've got some kids who haven't missed a beat. They have not missed a beat at all. So, but I do believe, yes, there will be quite a bit of leniency for every child. And I think it'd be very, very hard to fail a child during this time, simply because, you know, what does that look like now?
Yeah.
That is a very good question. I mean, that's a very good answer, and a very good question, Kelly. Something you touched on a little bit about some kids thriving in this environment. I asked some other educators in a previous show of ours, do you think that those students that were kind of outside of the norm, you know, what the current groups, the larger popular groups were saying were the norm, or the kids that were bullied, you think that they're thriving more in the home environment because they don't have to go to school and face that as well?
I think those children are the ones that are really, really getting it. I really do. You know, in school there were bullies every day. There is cyberbullying, but not as much. Right. The other caveat to that are those kids who don't have Wi-Fi at home. It's expensive. You can't just pick up another piece of tech and give it. A lot of what's happening now too is those kids who are your loners, they're the ones saying, you know what, if I don't get this, I'm not going to make it. And I think there's been a lot of kids that had to grow up very, very quickly. It breaks my heart that in America, that you had kids going to McDonald's and Taco Bell and Walmart to use the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Mom and dad at home don't have Wi-Fi. And then those kids will go to a grandparent's house or an aunt's house, uncle's house. They don't have Wi-Fi. You know, my dad is 76 and he just got Wi-Fi. So the generation of grandparents didn't need Wi-Fi. And now they're the ones picking up these kids. When I pick up my niece with my sister, I see a lot of grandparents. And so it's the blended family is important today now more than ever because of this COVID. You know, you got a lot of parents saying, I'm gonna drop off my baby to my mom's house. I'll pick her up at 3 o'clock, take her home and feed her, and then do the night shift. So those kids have had to grow up very quickly. And unfortunately, I'm not seeing a difference. There are your white kids, your black kids, your brown kids, they're all that same boat. Even the kids who have are suffering.
Right.
Because now the responsibility is on them. Whereas before it was a teacher and somebody else, and now it's just them. So this is, every area is affected. Every area is affected. Everyone.
I was just, because you brought up that, when you brought that up, that brought up another thought in my head. I was just going to talk about the ones that Mr. or Mrs. Popular, who have to act as a class clown because that's what's expected of them. But they're very bright kids.
Very.
And now they don't have that, I have to be the class clown distraction. You know, so that's just another caveat that I want to kind of touch on. Kel, did you have the next question?
Yeah, so, you know, I know we've talked about, you know, here in the States, as far as what's going on, you know, with the COVID and the pandemic. You've had the experience of traveling abroad over in Shanghai. Tell us a little bit about that. How did that all come about?
Nichelle Hastings is the culprit. I was telling her that as much as I love teaching and love the red carpet and love traveling and all those cool, I needed a break, and kind of lost my mojo. I'm like, you know what? I love what I'm doing. This is great, but is there more? And she said, and we were in my car, we were in Orlando, in my condo, and she said, Doc, you should go to China. And I said, China?
Now you know what, Dr. D, you know, most folks would say, you know, let's just go further south. You know, we already in Florida, or we'll go to New York, or we'll go to California or something. But China? I mean, China.
Around the world, China? You mean 75 miles? China?
Right, China. Yeah.
Yeah. So she said, and Nichelle, you know, she gets so many grants from so many organizations. She is just an amazing woman, and she's known for sending teachers, professionals all over the world. And I knew this about her. And I said no. And she said, well, I know a few people there who are there, and they own the schools, and they're always looking for teachers from America. She said, you would be a great candidate because you're not married, you have no children, you can leave. She said, Denise, you're Southern, you can talk to anybody. I'm like, Nichelle, I'm not going to China. And the more she said it, the more I thought about it. And then she mentioned the money aspect and how you're paid. And I'm like, you talking?
Right.
You talking, you know.
I'm listening.
So,
as you count, like 1, 2.
I'm listening.
Okay.
What? You know, and she said, and so she said, I tell you what, would you just talk to one of the owners of the school? We just talk to him and see what he says. I said, okay, fine. So we did a Skype meeting. Now this is August. This is August 2024. August. So I talked to Frank's son, who we're friends to this day. He owns about 3 universities in China. And, you know, we met, talked, had a great conversation. And he said, so when are you coming? I said, well, you know, this was just a great conversation. I wanted just to meet
right.
You meet me and all that good stuff. Hey,
yeah,
you know. Yeah. And he said, no, when are you coming? I'd love to have you. I can have you here in 60 days. 60 days. Yeah. And I think, no, I'll let you know. So he sent me a contract in 48 hours and a nice contract. A nice contract. A nice contract. And so
Hey, Dr. D, was this a contract with a lot of papers and pages to it? When you say a nice contract, or just a lot of zeros in it behind it?
So it was a nice contract.
Yeah.
And how the taxes work with that, you know, and everything.
Yes.
And my schedule and that kind of stuff. And so I said, so I talked to a few more teachers on this same program who had gone, because I wanted to hear their perspective, what they thought, you know, everything, you know, food, culture, crime, language, Black people in Asia. You hear all these things, and none of that was true. We'll get to that. But long story short, I said, okay, you know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. So I signed the contract in September. And then I went to Duluth, Georgia to meet with the consulate of China to interview with them for 3 days.
In Georgia, Duluth, Georgia.
Duluth. That's where the nearest consulate was, where I was in Orlando. So went to Duluth, Georgia, and met with them for 3 days. I already had a passport, like travel already, and because you have to be approved by the consulate to go, because you can't just go to China. You have to be invited to the continent, the country of China, the continent first, and then the country of China. You can't just go to China. So I had to provide all this documentation, which he did for me, Frank's son, and it was a really easy process. And my dad got remarried in December 2014, and December 28th, I was in China, 2014. So
I noticed when you were telling me about the process and everything, because when I read your bio and I was like, okay, Shanghai, China, and I guess that these were multiple cities, or was these other countries, or what were, because I'm not familiar with China and everything over there, so my geography is pretty poor. But what I wanted to talk to you about is, as a Black woman,
yes,
right, speak to them on their turf, you know, on their ground.
Right.
Typically, it's vice versa. They're coming here trying to learn our culture and everything. But
right,
you are leaving as a Black woman, an American citizen, an educator, going to China to go speak to them. In what role in fashion are you going there to do? Or you're a teacher? What are you doing there?
So I taught business culture, American culture, and they gave me complete autonomy. I told Michelle, I said, if I'm going to China, I don't want to go to Beijing because that's like LA. And I don't want to go to Shanghai because that's like New York. If I'm going to do this, I want to really be with the people. So I moved to a place called Liu Shi, China, which is about 4 hours from Shanghai. It's pronounced Shanghai. Shanghai. So I said, okay, I want to be in authentic China. I want to be real deal Holyfield, you know. And I was. And my town had, you know, the hats, the shawl, everything. I said, yeah.
This is it. This is real, right?
So it was amazing. And I met 3 foreign teachers there, one from Pakistan, one from Argentina, and one from Mexico. So it was wonderful, and we are friends to this day. So it was wonderful, and I was the unicorn, because you know most Americans go to Beijing, the Great Wall, and go home.
Yes.
You know, not many Americans move to China. They don't, especially Black and female. They don't. In my town, and I do mean my town, there were maybe 3 Black people, and they were all foreign professors, all of us, you know. So it was amazing, and they took me everywhere because that was the new shiny toy, you know. And but I taught business culture. I taught English. They wanted to learn English, and they said, "Who better than an American?" But I also taught slang. I taught Black culture, and it's amazing because they knew Michael Jordan better than we did. Yeah. They know all the presidents better than we do, you know. So they know our culture better than we do. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So okay, now you ran off a couple of names: Bangkok, Beijing, Shanghai, Korea. Did you say Korea?
Yep, Taiwan. Yep, the Korea. Seoul.
Okay.
Korea.
Go ahead. After you sip.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry. Talk a lot.
I understand.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah.
so Korea, Hong Kong.
Mm.
I can't even say this word. Is this the Xinghing? What is that?
Shanghai.
Shanghai. Oh, see.
SHANGHAI. Yeah, Shanghai.
Yeah. And then is this Lil She? Is this the little shirt you're talking about?
Shirt.
Little shirt. And
these are real world real words, people. We're not making these up.
I'm just tearing them up.
These are real places.
No. Yeah.
Wenzhou.
That's the town where the airport was. That was about an hour from my city. That was a big city, Wenzhou. They had Walmart, they had Starbucks, and they had all the cool stuff. So if you wanted to go somewhere and hang out and be real popular, you went to Wenzhou. Or you went to a place called Yiqing, and they also had a Starbucks and a Pizza Hut, and they had a KFC.
Yeah, see, that's 3 more names down there, so I'm not gonna try to say that again, right? So you have Nanjing.
Ningbo.
With a J. Nanjing.
Nanjing, yes, Nanjing, yes.
Nanjing. Okay, so yeah, I see Ningbo, and then I ain't gonna say that word.
Oh, this is entertaining to see P try to pronounce these names.
Hey, but okay, so all of these places, you also taught, like you said, the culture, and you also taught them like American etiquette and traveling and things of that nature, along with the communication and the entertainment that you said earlier. So diving a little bit into fashion, what I assume, and this is an assumption because I've never been there, right? So I can just say off of what I see on TV, because all the Asians I know here, they're Americanized, right? You know, they're wearing Vans or Jordans or Ones or K-Swiss, you know, they're or Timberlands, right? They're not in what I know from TV to be Asian attire. So when you talk about fashion, what went into that?
You mean my fashion career or my fashion over there?
Well, your fashion over there, and then that leads into the next question anyway. So your fashion career.
Okay. When I was in China, I was amazed at how they dressed. I mean, absolutely beautiful. The town that I was in was a very expensive town. And most of the schools in China are private schools. So the children who go to certain schools are pretty well off. The kids and now I taught adults, but I had about 4 students that went to my college, and they were all very well off, rich. And I always thought, the Asians I see in America, I wonder if they have money or they're just smart, and it's both. Learned in China that any Asian that you see in America, they've got money, and their parents say, go over there, learn it, and do well, and you know, and stay there. So I learned that there. I learned that, you know, and that's the stereotype that we see, you know, that we hear about, and it's absolutely true. So, and let me just say about their education. In China, part of the rule is when you can walk, you go to school. So they learn math and fractions and robotics at 4 years old. So we will never beat them in math. We will never beat them in math. When I went to the grocery store, you know how here in America we have the cashier and they have the register? Not in China. It's up here. And their math is perfect. So when I got to the register and would say, "What's your chin? You know, how much do I, you know, how much does it cost? You know, chin, how much is it?" They would give you the exact change. And they will not rob you. They will not rob you, and they will not try to go over on you. They believe in tranquility. They believe in Buddha, you know. But that's one of the one things that got me there was their dedication to education. In some parts of the schools in China, the airplanes cannot fly over the schools. They're that dedicated to education.
Really?
It was amazing. But my niece is in the 5th grade, And, she's doing fractions and things like that. But in China, they learn that in first grade.
Mm.
By the time children are 10 years old in China, they know 2 other languages fluently and an instrument fluently.
So let me segue real quick with that. What do you think the United States needs to do as far as to get us up to speed? Because, just like you said, China is so much farther ahead of us in education. Why are we, the United States of America, do you think?
Because we are a spoiled country. We are a very, very developed country, and we want to cater to our children, and we do. And we want to be our children's friend and their buddy, not their parent. Now, I'm not a parent. I'm not, but I've been raised. And my parents were not my friends until I was an adult. My father is 76 years old, and I have a healthy fear of Deacon DMOs. And, in America, we have football teams, and on the weekends, the pep rally, and that's not the case in China. They don't have football teams.
Yeah.
They don't
the entertainment pizzazz there is
it's not there. So it's it's a lot more serious there. They want to be successful and owners, and they want to be the lender and not the borrower. And they are. They do well. Their math is incredible. And I apologize because the question was about fashion.
No. This is important.
But I know, but I don't want to, jump around, but that happens sometimes from that experience, is that when they learn something for the first time, they know it. Within 2 or 3 days, they know it. My good friend Peter, who lived in China, I was amazed how he knew our culture better than we did. I rhymes and Jackie said, oh yeah, that album, she had so-and-so. And I'm like, how do you know that? And he's like, well, and they love our culture, and they know our culture. They really, they're really immersed by the fashion there. They know, all the designs. They know, Chanel's there, Chanel's here. Now you're seeing a lot more street design, a lot more popular design, and they know, and they're happy to pay for it, and they can pay for it.
Right.
They can. They work really, really hard. They save their money. Even the weddings. Now, I went to a Chinese wedding. Beautiful. I mean, the women are they're known for being very petite anyway, because they how we drink coffee and we have cold water or ice water, and in China it's not like that. They drink hot water. They drink warm water, and that's because it dilutes. It takes away the fat. It clears the toxins. It clears the colon. So how we have room temperature water, they have hot water. And they drink it all day with tea and with herbs. And it was just amazing. I said, hot water? Where's ice cubes? They're like, we don't do that here. And then after about 4 or 5 months, I'll do the same thing. Yeah. And my weight just, and I'm already small, but my weight just drops. Now back to fashion.
So you're saying, Dr. D, warm water is the new detox? Well, new to us, but that's their lifestyle. Right.
Yeah, and Asians live very long. Some of the best vegetables I've ever had were in the Far East. The best vegetables I've ever had, real fried rice, real noodles. How we have the fortune cookie here in America? They don't have that in China. They said you American, you do that there. We don't do that here. Wow,
So you think you're getting something from away, from authentic.
They don't even do that. They don't even do that there. They said you're so American, and I said, well, yeah, but it was great to be there. And they when they met me, they said, oh, you're from America. Michael Jackson. Have you met Beyonce? I said, every American doesn't know Beyonce.
No,
we don't. But it's just amazing what they thought of me and what I thought of them, and it was completely wrong. They treated me like gold there, because I heard, Asians are like Black people and they're rude, and you see the news. But my experience, and I went all over China. Yeah. They treated me wonderful. They treated me great. They stared at me a lot because, again, I was a unicorn. Black people just don't, Americans just don't move to China, and then Black female just don't do that. So it was a great cultural experience for me. And that's where my podcast really comes from.
Outstanding. So let's switch gears just a little bit because we're about 13 minutes out. So that's what happens with us, right? We do a lot of this, right? And time flies when you're having fun. So
it does. Yes,
you have a couple books out, right? It may be more. Is it 2 or is it more?
I've written 4 books. My first book was Life at 433. I finished my PhD and I wrote about it. About a family in the South doing the right thing. Then I wrote the 35 Tips to Be Successful. And I wrote The Guilt-Free Guide to Fashion, which is about my life on the red carpet and how you don't have to spend a lot of money to look good, and you don't. Most people spend tons of money to look great, and I'm just like, that's such a mistake. That's why there's fashion and there's style, and there's different. Style is a pair of jeans and a skirt and making it work. Fashion is what you see in the store. And they're both great, but you can't buy style. You buy fashion. That's the difference.
Style is how you put it together, right?
Yes, yes. If you have this skirt and this jacket and this shirt and you make it happy, and you make it wonderful, that is style. If I go to a fashion show and I see her dress and I buy that, that is fashion. Wrong with that, but that's what that is. But you don't have to buy a Gucci dress to look great. You don't. You can. Good for you.
Right.
But you don't have to do that. You
got it like that. Do you, right? So let me see. Blind Faith. Talk to us about it.
Well, this is my latest baby, and it's called Blind Faith, and it's all about my journey through China, from takeoff to touchdown. Everything. The apartment, and being on the plane and being scared to death, and like, what did I just do? I don't know anybody here. I only knew my interpreter. Wow. I jumped in. I said, you know what, Denise, this can be the best thing ever or the worst thing. You won't know until you go. Yeah. And it's all about just believing in yourself, immersing yourself in something completely foreign to you and rocking it. Because I said, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it. I've met lifelong friends. I taught my classes. I traveled. I went to Bangkok. I walked a tiger. I rode an elephant. I went to Dubai at the Grand Mosque. I put on a burqa. I went to Seoul, Korea. I went to Beijing where Michael Phelps won his 8 Olympic gold medals. It was just, I went to Shanghai, which is called the New York of Asia, and it's absolutely beautiful. And I went to Beijing and I saw, touched, and felt the Great Wall of China. I'm like, this is, I must be here because it's only in China. So this is all about, believing in yourself and knowing you can do it. And then I did a workbook all about dreams, a 10-page workbook about knowing what skills you have, developing those skills, getting around people who know more than you do, and going for it.
So those are 2 different things, correct? Those are 2 different books. There's the book and then there's a workbook.
There's the book and the workbook.
Absolutely. So how can our listeners obtain these books, book and workbook?
Go to my website, which is www.drdenisemose, DRDENISEMOSE.com. You can go to Barnes & Noble's online. You can go to Books A Million online. You can go to Amazon online. I prefer my website because it comes straight from me and I can sign it for you. So you can do that.
Signed edition, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We'll be doing it that way. I want mine signed, right?
Yes. My website and do it there, and I can sign those here. So and through my podcast as well. On my podcast, which is anchor.fm/Dr. Denise Mose, I always mention the book and how it helped me and just everything about that. Because we've all been there. We've all said, you know what? I love what I'm doing, but is there more? Can I push myself? And then actually doing it. Because there's one thing to say, I want more, and then actually doing it, and then coming back from that better or whatever, you know? So
how do we and when do we get to experience your podcast?
Every Sunday, well, you can do it any day, but I do my podcast every Sunday, 4 p.m. It's called Self-Discovery on Sundays with Dr. D, yours truly. And it's half an hour, sometimes less than that, because you don't want to, I want to leave my audience wanting more. So I don't make it too long, But I just got my Spotify list back. I'm in 6 countries.
Look at that.
So,
congratulations on that.
Over 200 episodes, and it's just been wonderful. What started out as just a way for me to say, I have something to share. This is where I was in my life. This is what I did. This maybe can help you. I'm not saying go to China, but you can do something, just to say, you know what, hey, I'm not fulfilled. Let me, she did that. Let me talk to her and see how she did so-and-so. And it's been wonderful. I've met so many, quote unquote fans, oh my, who've emailed me and talked to me, and it's been wonderful. So it's been a great therapeutic outlet for me and for others, and it's been great.
Oh, therapeutic. If we had more time, you diving into a whole nother
I know, right?
episode of ours, right? So
you gotta invite me back.
Right. Well, we definitely, or maybe we should come to you.
Oh, that'd be great.
So let's give it to them one more time. Blind Faith, the book and the workbook. Both of them, you can get them at your website, which we're going to have on our Facebook page and all our social media.
YouTube and all that. Yep.
Along with Amazon online. Wait, you didn't say Amazon, did you? Said
but let's just say my website. That way it comes straight for me.
There you go.
From your website.
I can sign.
Signed edition. Absolutely.
Signed edition.
Yes.
And then your self-discovery podcast, which
Yes.
you do, is it live? You do it live every Sunday.
It's live every Sunday. Yes.
And
there
what
are
time?
episodes to watch and listen to on there as well. So.
And what time on Sundays? Just
4 p.m. Central Standard Time. 4 p.m.
4 p.m. Central Standard.
Yes.
And where do we go to find that?
I'll go to Anchor, ANCHOR.FM/Dr. Denise Mose, or go to Spotify. I'm on Spotify, and just Google Dr. Denise Mose, and they're all right there.
Outstanding. So, Kel, do you have any closing questions for these last 6 minutes of Dr. D, since we have her and she was so gracious to join us this evening?
Yeah, I got like some real flash questions here. So
rapid fire.
How was it to interview and speak to Serena Williams?
Wonderful. She's amazing. Serena was absolutely amazing. Truly humble. She's very humbling, and she recognizes her power, who she is, and she was great. Wonderful. Awesome.
Coco Gauff, is she the real deal, or is she just a one and done? What do you think?
She's a real deal. She's gonna be around for a long time. She's a real deal, and she's finding her way. To be at Wimbledon at 15 years old.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I love the fact that she has a very strong mind, and she's very she's very direct and has her direction and everything at such a young age of 15, and be on that level. I mean, that young lady has nothing but great things coming towards her.
I agree, absolutely.
Last one, or maybe I get one more, two more in. NBC correspondent at some point time. Did I read that right?
Yes.
Okay.
I am hired by the NFL, NBC, several companies, Essence, Disney, Walt Disney World. So I write for a lot of people, which is so much fun. And that's how I get to travel. Like I said, I have an agent who will pitch me to various companies and say, we have the Essence Festival for 5 days. You're interviewing India Ari, you're interviewing Jill Scott, you're interviewing Maxwell, you're interviewing Neo, you're interviewing Remy Ma. And I'm like, sign me up, or you're going to London, or you're going to the Olympics, or you're going to Fashion Week in New York, or you're going to the Oscars. I went to Sundance this year, and I take my twin everywhere. I take my twin with me because, she's part of my crew.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Crew.
Yeah.
But she's with me.
You gotta have that you know, that two-person crew, you know, make it look like it's 10, but it's 2.
Gotta pay for the entourage travel too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
out of all that, and I know we've probably missed some things here, what is your most favorite, and what is your most favorite out of all the hats that you're wearing with all the different events and everything that you've experienced, and which one has touched your heart the most?
Of all the hats I wear, teaching will always be my number one. Teaching, it will be. I mean, despite the glam and my crazy, awesome lifestyle that I get to do all these cool things, teaching is number one. I've learned a lot from the red carpet. I thought I knew what pressure was, but on the red carpet at the Oscars, when you must be there at 2 p.m. and the carpet starts at 6 p.m., it's hot in LA. You're in a gorgeous gown, makeup full. You have this much space with you and your crew. You got 20 seconds to get Nicole Kidman or Brad Pitt or Denzel or Viola, because you won't get them all. And how to do that, do a story, knock it out, and get it done. So the red carpet is a beautiful nightmare. It's
a beautiful nightmare.
Because you're getting all the biggest stars in the world, you know, and then you see them all the time, and then they become friends, you know. There are quite a few, there are a few who I talk to all the time through Instagram. I met, you know, at the Oscars, the Grammys, and Super Bowl. I do all the time, so we become friendly now. But I love the red carpet. It's a beautiful high because it's exciting, it's fun, but it's also nerve-wracking, and he's moving here and I can't get here, and you're black and blue, but God, we met Denzel, or we talked to Viola Robinson, or that was Black Panther, you know. It's crazy. So I learned a lot from the red carpet, a lot. And each carpet is different. Each one, there are some that are very relaxing. The Essence Festival backstage is very relaxing. Maxwell this way, and then there's Jill Scott, and then there's Mary J. Blige, and there's Questlove. And it's just like, here's Denzel, you have 10 seconds. Oh, okay.
Turn it on.
You have 5 seconds. Okay, and it's gonna be different questions for each one. You gotta be on, ready to go, and makeup and hair, and you know, but it's a beautiful nightmare. It's the best way to describe it.
That's awesome. Hey, that's the name of a song that somebody needs to do. Beautiful Nightmare.
Yeah, well, that was, you know, I think that's loosely, something that's from somewhere. Yeah, but that's just
somebody did a Beautiful Nightmare. I'm gonna have to Google that one because I definitely like that one.
Oh, that's a sweet dream, but I didn't mean it for that. That was just the way I described it.
Right, but that's dope. But, you know, so we're gonna go ahead and talk about that one later because we're gonna steal that. So give our listeners your website one more time, spelled out before we close, so that they know where to go.
My website is www.drdenise.com, and that's the best place to find a lot of my pictures. My books are there. Order them both. So one more time, www.drdenise.com, drdenismose.com.
Outstanding. Now,
Dr. D,
to your podcast.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Go to Spotify. Go to Spotify and look up Dr. Denise Mose, or look up Self-Discovery on Sundays.
Got you. Kel?
That's it, Dr. D. Thank you. I mean, this has been an hour worth of an abundance of information and knowledge. Just thank you for sitting down and talking to us. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. This has been wonderful, and sorry I jumped around a lot of places, but
we had a lot of information to dump in 1 hour, and that's what happens, right? It just comes out and it flows, especially when there's passion involved, right?
Yes,
absolutely. It was robotic and just like, you got this time to do this question, you got this time to do this question, we wouldn't get the full impact of what actually Dr. D is about. And we appreciate you allowing us and gracing us with that. So
thank you. You bless me. You bless me.
With that said, everybody, y'all know what time it is. It's Perspective 217, and we out.